Chapter 591 Chapter 591, Threat of the Ancient Race Ahead, Threat of the Paradise Behind. Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_ The Thunder Trainer King had been playing with thunder for his entire life in order to bring the masses to salvation. To think that he would lay there like a dead corpse after just a few zaps of the Paradise's thunder calamity. How horrifying was this for Lin Fan? How many strikes of the thunder calamity are there in total? Lin Fan asked Fairy Hong Yun straight in the face. Right now, his paradise was filled with lightning flashes all over the place. The sheer might of the thunderbolts was both startling and dreadful to behold. This was the thorniest problem that Lin Fan had to deal with all of a sudden thus far. If he didn't manage this well, there was a possibility that everything might probably go to waste. Furthermore, given the current circumstances, the system couldn't intervene at all either. After all, this was a tribulation that one had to undergo on the path of cultivation. However, the reply of Fairy Hong Yun had Lin Fan's heart shattered immediately. The amount of Paradise Thunder Calamity strikes is equivalent to the amount of Spirit Chi cyclones. Fairy Hong Yun's face was fraught with worries right now. She had not expected to come across a Paradise Thunder Calamity of this sort within her entire life. If Lin Fan could tide through the horrifying Paradise Thunder Calamity this time around, his achievements in the future would definitely be unlimited. The strength of his paradise would definitely go beyond anyone's imagination. Noticing the expression in Lin Fan's eyes, Elder Yun he was filled with fright as well. They knew that if Lin Fan could not tide through the Paradise Thunder Calamity, that would lead to the rupturing of his paradise. By then, the berserk energy that was formed from his Paradise Thunder Calamity could most likely have all of them killed because of it. In fact, even the fire-water secret grounds might be smitten into emptiness. However, they did not tell Lin Fan any of this. They could sense that Lin Fan was pretty unfamiliar with the Paradise Thunder Calamity. If anything were to happen midway, they would then intervene to explain for him in the hope of raising his probability of tiding through this. By the looks of things right now, however, the odds of them making it through seemed close to zero. Upon hearing these words, Lin Fan's face turned pale immediately. However, he recovered almost instantaneously as a fervent fighting intent burnt in his heart. Yours truly's life is really tough. How could I possibly be killed by a Paradise Thunder Calamity as such? No matter what, I'll hold on till the very end. Lin Fan grit his teeth tightly, bent on giving it his all. Outside, the ancient race army had been waiting for a long time now. Those beings of the thousands of races who had entered the fire-water secret grounds must have already gotten their hands on the treasures within. However, they would never have expected that the entire entrance would be surrounded by us of the ancient race. Looking at the torn open entrance of the secret grounds, an ancient race being laughed coldly. The ancient race beings had encircled the entire entrance by now, ensuring that no one would be able to make their escape. A single glance over could see the entire vicinity coated in black. Growling furiously, there were multiple powerful beings of considerable strength mixed within the ancient race army present. If any beings of the thousands of races were to catch sight of this dense, enormous army of ancient race beings present, they would definitely be scared **Telis and run away with their tails between their legs. When the ancient race army came forth, any being of the thousands of races would make way for them. Legatus, shall we stay and wait out here or head in there to slaughter all of those living beings? An ancient race tribunus asked, his face malevolent with a vile aura. This was especially the case in his eyes, which seemed to contain two figures of bloodthirsty demonic gods. Your legatus here can have all of these ant-like beings dead in an instant. However, the reason to have the entire army here is just so we can show them the true might of the ancient race. Since that's the case, your legatus here shall just pick a random 100 soldiers to enter with me in order to take them down. The ancient race legatus replied coldly, unleashing an utterly domineering aura. Amongst the ancient race beings present this time around, there were 10 legatus. These were the fiercest underlings under the direct command of Sovereign King Wei. Ever since the previous Sovereign King Wei was slain by Lin Fan, the utmost being of the ancient race had created a new Sovereign King Wei in order to expand out their territories and kill off more beings of the thousands of races. For the utmost being of the ancient race, the Marquis of Despair was only a puppet that provided him with power. If he were gone, so be it. The point was to let all these preys have a little bit of hope before letting them understand the meaning of true despair in the face of someone like him. That way, the power he could harvest from them would be even stronger. Legatus, take a look. The beings of the thousands of races are about to exit from within. An ancient race being exclaimed at the sight of a few streaks of light in the distance. When the 10 Legatus caught sight of the light spots at the entrance of the secret grounds, they let out a cold grin. Well, it's better now that they've decided to send themselves into our jaws. Let them come, so that we can kill all of them in one fell swoop. The ancient race Legatus replied. Yes, Legatus. The ancient race beings erupted in unison. Their aura right now was extremely fearsome, as it pierced straight into the clouds. Lin Fan, how are you right now? Noticing that Lin Fan's face was getting paler by the second, Fairy Hong Yun could not help but ask in worry. I can still hold on. At the moment, Lin Fan wasn't doing all that well. All the spirit weapons that he had received from Fairy Hong Yun were destroyed under these frightening thunderbolts. There wasn't even a single room of resistance for them at all. Even though these were mere spirit weapons, they were still treasures that were at the side of the Fire-Water Empress. This meant that they would have absorbed some of the Fire-Water Empress's battle consciousness as well. However, just like that, they disappeared under the might of these formidable thunderbolts without a trace. Elders, suddenly, dozens of figures appeared in a flash of light coming from above them. These were all disciples of the Cloud Sect. Basically, these were the ones that had failed the entrance challenge earlier on. After being sucked into the vortex post their failure, they were knocked out of their consciousness. By the time they had regained their senses, they found themselves appearing outside the tomb. They had been waiting patiently outside just like that. The moment they caught sight of the figures of their elders, they rushed forth immediately. What's wrong with him? Noticing that Lin Fan did not look as though he was doing too well right now, Tianyun asked anxiously as well. Even though there were some tension between him and Lin Fan earlier on, Lin Fan had stood up for him in the face of humiliation by his senior brother. As such, Tianyun had long forgiven Lin Fan for everything. To him, Lin Fan was a pretty decent being of the human race. He's undergoing the Paradise Thunder calamity right now. This is a pressing matter, Fairy Hong Yun replied. Paradise Thunder calamity? Even though Tianyun knew about such stuff, he was still pretty bewildered at the current situation. That's not right though. While the Paradise Thunder calamity may be pretty treacherous, he should be able to get through with it just fine given his capabilities and strength. While Tianyun knew that the Paradise Thunder calamity might provide a savant genius with some setbacks, they should have a large chance of getting through it all right. There are thousands of spirit chi cyclones within his paradise right now. The situation is completely out of hand. I guess, we can only depend on his luck right now to get through it, Fairy Hong Yun continued. The moment Tianyun heard this, he nearly spat out an entire mouthful of blood. Even a man who had never tasted pork would know of a pig. The number of strikes of the Paradise Thunder calamity was based on the number of spirit chi cyclones within the paradise. At the same time, this was a determinant of the strength of the calamity. The Grand Master of the Cloud Sect's 188 Spirit Chi Cyclones was the one and only Paradise Thunder calamity that had happened in the entire history of Cloud Sect by far. However, the moment he heard that there were thousands of Spirit Chi Cyclones involved this time around, Tianyun could only feel as though his entire mind was in a whirlpool, as a look of deep disbelief appeared on his face. At the side stood Muqing and some of the other disciples who had managed to stay alive. Their gazes at Lin Fan were equally flabbergasted. However, it soon changed into a look of fear. How bloody horrifying was this? If he failed to tide through this and the paradise were to implode, all of them would definitely have this place as their burial grounds. Guys, look. The entire ancient race army is guarding the entrance right now. Suddenly, a disciple pointed out at the distance. Through the layers of light screen, they were shocked when they caught sight of the situation outside. Vast and dense like a range of mountains, the ancient race beings filled the entire surroundings outside. It's over. Even if we were to head out, we'd definitely die for sure. What are we to do right now? To think that we're completely surrounded by the ancient race beings. Observing the current situation, Elder Yunhee's heart was starting to thump faster in worry as well. He did not know what to do any longer. How could they rush out of this place given the way things were right now? This was especially the case with the 10 legatus of the ancient race army that were standing guard outside. Their auras were deep and profound like colossal mountains. It seemed as though their powers alone could crush down and repress on the heaven and earth just like that. Chapter 592 Chapter 592 I really can't hold on anymore. Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_ Lin Fan wasn't that bothered about the ancient race beings at the entrance of the fire-water secret grounds. His own situation with his paradise already had him with his hands full. Within his paradise right now, stormy dark clouds were rumbling in the sky. Berserk and wild, they glided around rampantly. Throwing the lightning flashes into it, part of it was segmented just like spiderwebs. The Paradise Thunder Calamity is way too scary. The power of thunder that's being emanated from this thing isn't something any ordinary person can hope to fend against. Lin Fan was a little panicked right now. If he didn't deal with this well, this might very well be where he would fall. Boom, boom. The thunderous explosions continued to boom within the paradise. A thunderbolt that was the size of an enormous python growled out furiously and descended from the sky, encompassing the entire paradise. Instantly, Lin Fan tossed a Dao weapon straight over. This Dao weapon looked exactly like a brush, and was something that belonged to the Fire-Water Empress. However, one could only wonder how long something like this could hold up against the thunderbolt. The brush Dao weapon floated into the void and enlarged all of a sudden. Within every single stroke, it seemed like it could scrub the entire heaven and earth. Jerking slightly, the light between the gaps of the brush darted out towards the thunderbolt. Creak. A cracking sound rang out. To think that the Dao weapon would actually crack instantly under the might of the thunderbolt, with ripples appearing like the back of a turtle's shell. Holy F***ck. This Paradise Thunder Calamity is just not leaving us with any way to get out of it. The scene that unfolded had Lin Fan's mental state absolutely rattled. To think that a single thunderbolt could cause that Dao weapon to crack as though it could break apart at any moment. How was he supposed to go on like this? How in the world did the Grand Master of the Cloud Sect tide through his 188 strikes? If they were all like this, there would definitely be no one who could tide through them at all. Lin Fan's mind was startled right now. At that moment, yet another thunderbolt flashed as the Dao weapon did not even have a chance to retaliate. Instantly, it turned into dust, disappearing into nothingness within the paradise. What Lin Fan did not know was that the more spirit chi cyclones there were, the stronger the power of thunder generated would be. Every single strike of the thunderbolts that Lin Fan was experiencing right now was equivalent to 100 strikes for the Grand Master of the Cloud Sect's Paradise Thunder Calamity. Thousands of spirit chi cyclones. This was a paradise that shouldn't be allowed to exist within this world. If he were to tide through this, he would definitely be astoundingly strong and hailed among gods and ghosts. In the view of the Saint Spirit World's consciousness, this was akin to ascending the heavens here. I've worked painstakingly hard to get to this cultivation state. How could I possibly fall right now in this Paradise Thunder Calamity? Even if I have to give it my all, I must definitely take you down today. Lin Fan was ready to fight with all he had. The only remaining few Dao weapons of the Fire-Water secret grounds were all slapped out by him instantly. Sweeping out with his arm, all of his magical powers turned into a dragon form. Multiple dragons from his powers were infused into those Dao weapons. The dazzling brilliance shone through the entire space. Possessing a boundless amount of power, those Dao weapons erupted forth to stand against the Paradise Thunder Calamity. Creak, creak. Thunder flashed as the entire paradise turned into a world of thunder instantly. The mythical parasol tree stood upright in the center with its flourishing branches. However, upon being struck by a single thunderbolt, it burst into flames and its leaves withered immediately. There was no way it could resist it at all. To Lin Fan, this Paradise Thunder Calamity was simply way too scary. Under the repeated strikes of the thunderbolts, those few Dao weapons began to crack and break down as well, turning into dust eventually. This is really just forcing me onto the path of death. Lin Fan was extremely pale right now, as beads of sweat dripped down his forehead. Roar! The big ancient demon growled repeatedly. Holding up those towering arms of his, he grabbed out at the thunderbolts. Boom! Boom! As though it could feel the provocation of the big ancient demon, the Paradise Thunder Calamity gathered an even stronger power of thunder. Under a single strike of that combined thunderbolt, the aura of the big ancient demon diminished a little. Seeing that, Lin Fan could not help but worry as well. He couldn't possibly let things carry on like this. The Demon City was the one treasure that Lin Fan wanted to develop the most. It wasn't impossible for that item to become an utmost treasure one day. Instantly, Lin Fan retracted his Demon City before tossing out with his Eternal Axe. Even though it was damaged, the Eternal Axe was a legendary weapon no matter what. It should be able to hold on for a while now. And even if the Eternal Axe couldn't hold up for that long, he could still depend on the 9-5 legendary brick. However, Lin Fan did not know how long either of them could last for. Even if he were to expend every single thing he had, there were still thousands of thunderbolts awaiting him later on. It's over. This was the most unfortunate outcome that Lin Fan could come across in his mind. Lin Fan. The ancient race army has already surrounded the exit. Just as Lin Fan was immersed within his paradise, Fairy Hong Yun's voice rang out. Looking at the dense and huge army of ancient race beings outside, Lin Fan's face was disgruntled as well. All of you guys, don't head out first. Lin Fan waved his hand and stopped everyone. What do you want to do? Instantly, Fairy Hong Yun had a bad feeling about this. Lin Fan turned his gaze at Fairy Hong Yun, then looked within the paradise in his inner world once more. The thunderbolts were getting ever more berserk. The Eternal Axe could no longer hold on. There were signs of cracks on the 9-5 legendary brick as well. To think that even legendary weapons couldn't hold out within this Paradise Thunder Calamity, let alone his own physical body. I can no longer hold out. This Paradise Thunder Calamity has gone far beyond my expectations. Lin Fan chuckled bitterly. He truly felt that there was no way out of it this time around. One of the stages of the Paradise's metamorphosis was for him to undergo the calamity. Of course, he was the main vessel for that. Right now, he was already feeling as though he couldn't deal with it after merely tens of thunderbolts. What else could he do at this stage? If he had known that this would be the case, Lin Fan would have crafted out tons of treasures and made use of them to block the thunderbolts one by one. However, it was all too late for that. But you. Suddenly, Fairy Hong Yun realized that Lin Fan was looking at the ancient race army outside with a weird glint in his eyes. It was as though an inconceivable thought had just appeared within his mind. Once the paradise is destroyed, I will be destroyed along with it. The blast radius should be around 100 miles. No one will be able to survive in that area. From the get-go, this had nothing to do with you guys at all. If you guys stay within this fire-water secret grounds, you may be able to keep your lives, Lin Fan replied. Fairy Hong Yun did not know what to say any longer. While she knew that Lin Fan's Paradise Thunder Calamity would be extremely frightening, she had not expected it to be this horrific. From the look on Lin Fan's face right now, Fairy Hong Yun understood that all spirit weapons and Dao weapons would definitely be destroyed. At the same time, his own body's core would undoubtedly be expended thoroughly as well. It's too late. There's nothing I can do to fend against it any longer, Lin Fan focused his mental state. Even though he had quite a bit of indignance in his heart, he was entirely helpless right now. Suddenly, Lin Fan turned into a streak of light as he bolted out of the entrance. Lin Fan, Fairy Hong Yun screamed out. However, she knew that everything would come to an end as well. Damn it. God damn it. This shouldn't be the end of my path just yet. Why had things come to this? Lin Fan's heart was filled with all sorts of regrets. There's a living being heading out, why is there just one of them? Could he be coming out just to scout for them? But it doesn't matter. We'll have him stay behind first. The ancient race army laughed out cruelly at this sight. However, the moment they caught sight of this living being, their faces changed entirely. The entire body of this living being was wrapped in thunder, as a berserk energy was seeping out of his body continuously. Retreat. The expressions of the 10-leggedess changed immediately. Even if yours truly's paradise is to explode, yours truly is going to bring all you ancient race shish *ts down with me. Lin Fan's eyes were resolute right now. The changes that his paradise were undergoing right now were due to his lack of experience and knowledge of this world. If he could have the chance to continue surviving after this calamity, he would definitely try his best to build up his knowledge and not continue as recklessly as before. Paradise open, instantly. That paradise of Lin Fan, which was fraught with all sorts of dangers right now, encompassed all the ancient race beings present within it. Bam, bam. Fairy Hong Yun and the others snuck a gaze out of the fire-water secret grounds. Right now, it was a world of thunder out there. Chapter 593 Chapter 593, Thank the heavens, the earth and the entire ancient race family. Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_, what is he trying to do? Is he intending to perish together with the ancient race beings? Seeing this sight, Han Yun was extremely puzzled. She did not know what Lin Fan was planning. Elder Yun, he was brooding deep in his thoughts right now. Suddenly, his face changed. Wait. If he were to make use of the ancient race beings as vessels, defending against and blocking the Paradise Thunder calamity may not be entirely impossible. However, these ancient race beings are no fools either. How would they surrender just like that? At this moment, Lin Fan did not have any other plans he could think of. Initially, he had thought that he wanted these ancient race beings to die with him even if he couldn't tide over the Paradise Thunder calamity. Because of that, he opened up his paradise without any single bit of hesitation, and dragged all of the ancient race beings within this place. To begin with, Lin Fan's paradise was extremely strong. The space it encompassed was overwhelmingly huge and boundless. Even though the ancient race army was great, it still paled in the face of Lin Fan's enormous paradise. However, the moment they entered Lin Fan's paradise, the ancient race beings could sense a terrifying power that was brewing above in the sky. Where is this place? What is that living being trying to do? What is up with this power of thunder over here? How in the world is it this scary? The ancient race army was startled at this moment. Even though they were menacing and stood tall above the rest of the world, they still felt their goosebumps rising at the sight of this formidable power of thunder. A sense of dread was surging in their hearts. For some of the ancient race beings, they might have had no idea at all as to what this was all about. However, the 10 legatus and tribunus clearly understood where they were and what was going on in this scene before them. This living being is undergoing a Paradise Thunder calamity. He's trying to have us die alongside him. Damn it. God damn it. Everyone, listen up. Use all of your might to attack the paradise. Make sure you break through the walls of this paradise. The 10 legatus of the ancient race ordered out immediately. However, under the relentless assault of the power of thunder, their voices died out in the chaos, unable to be transmitted across. Looking at the countless spirit chi cyclones within the paradise, the legatus of the ancient race beings were stumped right now. Just what sort of an extent has this paradise accumulated resources till? How in the world could there be spirit chi cyclones that are this strong? An ancient race legatus let out a stupefied look. Roaring out ferociously, he sent all of his body's energy into a single punch that burst out, as though 1,000 armies were rushing towards the walls of the paradise. Initially, Lin Fan had wanted to perish together with these ancient race beings in the Paradise Thunder calamity. However, something shocking happened in the next moment. Even though the thunderbolts in the voids got even wilder and more berserk, the power of thunder began to separate into multiple portions. Densely packed, and with the girth of a chopstick, all of these thunderbolts boomed loudly. Even though the total aura did not change at all, Lin Fan could sense that the might of the power of thunder was now being split up evenly. Could this be what they meant by "those who see get a share of the pot"? With that, are all of the ancient race beings are now sharing the burden of the power of thunder? At this sight, Lin Fan's heart was filled with joy. However, the crystallized walls of the paradise began to tremble. Looking over at the distance, Lin Fan could spot some ancient race beings trying their best to attack those crystallized walls of his paradise. Under these ferocious attacks, the walls seemed extremely unstable. It seemed as though they could shatter at any moment. No. This is an extremely rare opportunity. How can I possibly let these ancient race beings screw this up? Whether or not I get through this paradise thunder calamity depends on them. Lin Fan was extremely gleeful right now. Mythical parasol tree, wrap around the entire paradise, grabbing out into the void. The mythical parasol tree jerked violently. With that, countless tree branches ripped out. They dug their way into the paradise like countless tiny hands. Intertwining with one another, the tree branches of the mythical parasol tree formed a gigantic, dense web. The twin true essences of fire and water began to churn rapidly, transforming into a scorching sun and a running long river. The swiveling of the scorching sun caused an endless amount of rays to burst forth, plastering the crystallized walls of the paradise. The long river swam through the crystallized walls as well, nourishing everything it touched. Each time the crystallized walls were breached, a soothing and warm energy would seep in, allowing it to regenerate quickly. The powers within Lin Fan's body were rapidly burning up as well. One by one, those figures of the skill gods howled in anger as they transformed into a gigantic river that gushed within the paradise. In order to sustain the stability of this paradise, Lin Fan could not help but exert every single bit of strength he had. If not for the fact that Lin Fan's foundation was sturdy, he would have turned into a dried-up corpse just by utilizing these skills in order to sustain the energy required by his paradise. What in the world is with this paradise? Damn it. All 10 of the legatus of the ancient race army were divine celestial level 5, essence spirit state beings. Each of them wielded an unimaginable amount of power. Every single punch of theirs would send forth a god of power that would bellow in fury, ripping everything before their faces. However, every single strike that they landed on these crystallized walls of the paradise left nothing but a few ripples. How could the 10 legatus of the ancient race army tolerate something as such? Boom! All of the densely packed thunderbolts that were like chopsticks began to twist and contort while descending from the heavens. The view within the paradise right now was absolutely magnificent, and could cause one to hold their breath with just a single look. All of these thunderbolts were like a drizzle pouring down. It was impossible to dodge them at all. Filled with these dense and concentrated thunderbolts all over the entire paradise, it gleamed with an uncanny glow. The tragic wails rang out continuously. Some of the weaker ancient race beings could not endure the power of thunder that was raining upon them right now. At every contact, their skin parted ways with their bodies, as a thick, black smoke sifted up from the damage done to them. To think that this living being would try to make use of us in order to share the burden of his paradise thunder calamity. Damn it. A few of the stronger ancient race beings slammed out with their hands and destroyed the thunderbolts entirely. However, the sight of their fellow weaker ancient race beings that were smitten down mercilessly had them all yelling in anger. A series of thunderbolts struck down on Lin Fan's body. Ding, Eternal God Body Experience Points plus 1000. Lin Fan realized that the power of thunder was no longer as powerful after being divided up. He was absolutely exhilarated with this fact. He wanted to howl out in joy and vent out all the happiness within his heart right now. However, he had to keep his cool. He still had an important task of maintaining the stability of the paradise. No matter what, he couldn't allow these ancient race beings to breach his paradise at all. Burn, burn, Lin Fan was giving it his all. All of the Shengyang pills that he had obtained with much effort were now being erupted out. Even though there were only a couple hundreds of thousands of them, Lin Fan did not want to leave any regrets down at this crucial junction. Each one of the myriad mythical elixirs he had in his possessions erupted out to supplement the powers that he was losing in order to sustain the paradise right now. Boom! The thunderbolts boomed out once more. And this time around, the girth of the thunderbolt strikes increased slightly. This was due to the fact that there were some ancient race beings who had perished in the previous wave of the thunderbolts. Now that they were smitten into dust, there were less of them to share the burden right now. However, this was still something that Lin Fan could deal with. Ding, Eternal God Body Experience Points plus 1100. The moment the thunderbolts coiled around Lin Fan's body, they were disintegrated as the experience points of his physical body state increased ever so steadily. To Lin Fan, this was a sign that hope had appeared. Thank you, heavens. Thank you, earth. Thank you, each one of the ancient race family. Lin Fan really had an urge to cry out right now. He had thought that he was truly about to die this time around. Who would have thought that a living bodhisattva such as the ancient race would appear in his critical moment of need and bring forth to him salvation in these tough times? Lin Fan could not help but lament over his shortcomings in comparison to this noble act of the ancient race beings. Under the current wave of thunderbolts, there were again a number of ancient race soldiers who could not endure the power of thunder and found themselves being smitten into dust. Because Lin Fan could not be considered as the one who had killed these ancient race beings, he did not receive any experience points for their deaths. However, as long as he could sustain and tide over this paradise thunder calamity, Lin Fan could care less about the experience points that were lost right now. Chapter 594 Chapter 594 I will be sure to return the favor for today's kindness. Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_, all of you dear ancient race soldiers and warriors. I, Lin Fan, shall remember the kind debt that you guys have bestowed upon me. In the future when I overthrow the ancient race, I will definitely leave some mercy for them because of your kindness today. Lin Fan was filled with gratitude towards these ancient race beings. Looking at how those ancient race beings of only utmost and azure celestial level would take the power of thunder without fear all for his sake, just so they could be smitten into pure dust against it, Lin Fan's heart wrenched with pain. Just how noble must one's heart be in order for them to be so selfless? Not only that, some ancient race beings weren't completely struck to death by the thunderbolts. Now, they were just limbless here and there. With their injuries, they should be seeking treatment behind the scenes. However, despite their severe injuries, they were still pointing up at the sky and screaming at the power of thunder, resisting it with all they had until they were eventually disintegrated into dust. Even though all the ancient race beings were extremely angered by Lin Fan's words, there was nothing they could do about the situation at all. Each time there was a break in the thunderbolts, all 10 Legatus would seize the opportunity and channel all of their powers towards the crystallized walls of the paradise. Each time they struck out, Lin Fan could feel all the energy within his body rumbling, as though his powers had dipped by a good half. However, under the support of his pills and the mythical parasol tree, Lin Fan was still managing to hold on. Ancient race warriors, watch out. You're all about to be struck down once more. Looking at the situation in the sky, Lin Fan gave off a kind reminder. To Lin Fan, it was for the better that there were less ancient race beings that died each time. BOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOOO immediately. The Paradise Thunder Calamity possessed a power of destruction within it. Even with the current power of thunder, it couldn't deal any immediate damage to them. However, this power of destruction would accumulate within their bodies. After a certain point, it would definitely implode and destroy everything within. At this moment, the ancient race beings were howling in anguish. Each time the Paradise Thunder Calamity rained thunderbolts down onto them, their skins would split open, with black smoke rising from it. "Legatus, please save us, help us," the ancient race soldiers were wailing out in pain. Their cultivation states weren't that high at all. Therefore, they couldn't withstand this Paradise Thunder Calamity at all. With that, there were many of them who would end up dead or severely injured. Despicable. Shameless. The 10 legatus of the ancient race blared out repeatedly. They could no longer tolerate this. Kill. Since they couldn't take down this paradise at all, the only choice left for them was to kill off this living being. Looking at the charge of the 10 legatus towards himself, Lin Fan's expression changed immediately. If they were to clash with him together, he wouldn't be their match at all. But, before he was to go into hiding from them, how could Lin Fan allow these ancient race brothers of his to continue suffering like this? Therefore, he grabbed a large number of pills and tossed them up into the sky. They erupted within the paradise and scattered down onto the bodies of the ancient race beings with their healing properties. Instantly, all of these severely injured ancient race beings were healed up. Even those ancient race beings who had a limb or two short right now found their bodies regrowing out. "Ah, I'm all right now. All of my injuries are healed up. Haha. Not dead. I'm not dead. At this moment, some of the ancient race beings cast a suspicious glance at Lin Fan, wondering what this living being was up to. However, the 10 legatus were hollering non-stop. To them, this bloody living being was way too despicable. Lin Fan entered his stealth mode without any hesitation. With that, he started cruising around his paradise in circles. The thunder's coming. Watch out, guys. Looking at the changes in the sky, Lin Fan let out yet another kind reminder. Upon hearing these words, some of the ancient race beings were startled and began to defend against it excitedly once more. That F***seeking ignoble fella. If we were to catch him, we'd definitely tear him into shreds. The legatus of the ancient race were incensed. They had never once met with such an abominable living being in their lives. Ding, eternal god body experience points plus 1,300. All of these thin thunderbolts could not deal any damage to Lin Fan at all. However, not all of the ancient race beings were as lucky as him. Those who had the worst lucks found themselves turning into dust by the bolts. Those who had slightly better luck? Really severe injuries, and that was all. Each time a thunderbolt struck down, a series of tragic wails would ring out as well. All of these tragic wails were the sounds of the ancient race beings. Under the power of thunder, they were filled with torments in both their hearts and bodies. Looking at the gigantic sea of troops of the ancient race, Lin Fan was cheering them on in his heart, hoping for them to endure until the very end of it all. He must definitely try his best to save these ancient race beings and not have them die off so easily. Otherwise, the strength of the thunderbolts would definitely increase over time to a point where he couldn't handle it any longer. Proud warriors of the ancient race, no fear. Let me help you guys. Lin Fan might be lacking in a lot of things right now. But one thing he did not lack was healing pills. Therefore, he tossed out yet another significant amount of healing pills to rejuvenate the vitalities of these ancient race beings. Haha. I'm healed up once more. Not dead. I'm truly not dead yet. Haha. The ancient race soldiers were raving at this point. By now, their spirits were so high, it was akin to having a battle god possessing their bodies, giving them an unperturbed aura. It was as though they had completely forgotten that this entire mess was created by a living of the thousands of races in the first place. Just who in the world are you? The ancient race legatus blasted out. I am the mother **seeking human king, Lin Fan. All of you need not be overly thankful towards me. It is in my character to revive the dead and rescue the injured. Together, we shall get through this paradise thunder calamity. Let's discuss any other issues we have after we get out of this place. Lin Fan tossed his robes aside as his face changed yet again. Take care, guys. I see lightning flashes once more. Upon hearing these words, the ancient race legatus nearly spat out all the blood in their mouths. Even though they were absolutely determined to kill this guy right now, this fella was way too devious. Each time they got close to him, he would disappear from the spot without a trace. Before they knew it, he would appear far in the distance. As for those ancient race beings who were struck half to death by the thunderbolts, they would be screaming in agony each time the waves rained down once more. Please don't revive us any longer. We can't take it anymore. We want to die, please. The ancient race soldiers could barely take it any longer. At the start, they were pretty exhilarated each time they found themselves recovering from the severe wounds inflicted by the thunderbolts. However, the pain that rained down on them was like a gigantic mountain crashing down on them. They couldn't endure it for much longer. The fact that the thunderbolts seemed to be getting even stronger was causing them to break down emotionally at this moment. In the eyes of the ancient race beings, Lin Fan represented the advent of a peerless demon. He wouldn't even grant them the wish of death. In the blink of an eye, 1,000 thunderbolts had passed. Lin Fan's physical body state had leveled up as well. Right now, he was a divine celestial level 3 paradise state being in terms of physical body state. Also, the crystallized walls of the paradise no longer required Lin Fan's powers for sustenance. Right now, the crystallized walls were as sturdy as they could be. Even the combined attacks of the 10 legatus could not damage it at all. Lin Fan realized that the paradise was evolving along with the paradise thunder calamity. If they were to tide through the entire Paradise Thunder calamity, he wondered how strong it would get by then. This was something that he couldn't even begin to imagine right now. Perhaps, even someone like Sovereign King Wei might not be able to shatter his paradise at all. Everything was progressing towards that path of perfection right now. However, this was the moment when something troublesome was happening for Lin Fan. B*****. How dare you try to make use of us from the ancient race? Today, I shall make sure I blow up your paradise. An ancient race legatus yelled. Those malevolent eyes of his were filled with the flames of fury. Just what is he trying to do? Lin Fan was bewildered. However, the next scene had him pretty worried. Since I can't break through your paradise, I'll only have to detonate my own paradise in order to blow yours up. The ancient race legatus was thoroughly enraged by now. He was now ready to sacrifice his own life in order to disrupt Lin Fan's plans. Instantly, a devastating aura emanated out from the body of this ancient race legatus. Hold on. Calm down. Let's talk things through. Lin Fan called out. Even if this ancient race being were to detonate his own paradise, he might not be able to blow open a crack in Lin Fan's paradise. However, Lin Fan's concern right now was that the other ancient race beings might end up being collateral damage in the blast. The power of thunder was getting stronger by the waves. If the number of people sharing the burden were to lower down, it would be extremely dangerous. No, he had got to stop this. Damned living being. Even if I've got to die, I'll ensure that you fail in your plans. If I were to allow someone like you to continue getting stronger, it would be disastrous for our ancient race. The ancient race legatus hollered. He had already realized that if things were to carry on this way with this living being tiding through his Paradise Thunder calamity, he would definitely become someone utterly horrifying. This was the only thing he could do if he wanted to nip Lin Fan in the bud. For the ancient race, without any bit of fear, the ancient race legatus screamed in a deranged manner. Holy F***ck. How can I allow you to succeed? Lin Fan was riled right now. This guy was being completely uncooperative. Chapter 595 None True Origins Crushing Kick. Lin Fan did not want to waste time pondering too much over this as he unleashed his ultimate move straight up. If he were to allow this ancient race being to self-detonate, who knew what sort of a cataclysmic effect it would produce? The paradise trembled as the sky was filled with a foot imprint that flew out towards the ancient race being. Haha. Your legatus here isn't even afraid of death. Do you think he would be afraid of something like this? The ancient race legatus laugh was chilling. That death stare of his emitted a red glow, as though he wouldn't rest in peace until Lin Fan was killed by him. However, it didn't take long before the expression of the ancient race legatus changed. He screamed at the top of his lungs, "What have you done to me?" The strength of the ancient race legatus paradise was wild right now, as though it could explode out at any moment. But upon receiving that kick, he realized that the power within his paradise were dispelled immediately, as an uncontrollable pain surged through his head. It was so dreadful that he couldn't pull himself away from it at all. I haven't done anything to you at all. If there's anything wrong, we should talk things out. Don't casually resort to stuff like detonating yourself up. Lin Fan smiled indifferently. Immediately after, he couldn't care less about the ancient race legatus. The Paradise Thunder calamity was starting to go rampant once more. It was as though the Paradise Thunder calamity itself was getting fed up with being unable to smite Lin Fan to death. MOTHERF***CKING Human King. You're despicable and vile. The ancient race legatus was clutching at his crotch in unbearable pain, as sweat dripped down furiously from his forehead. Lin Fan ignored him entirely. His gaze was focused right now. There was a strange phenomenon going on in his Paradise Thunder calamity. Two gigantic thunderbolts fused together, before splitting out into multiple portions. BOOM. The lightning flashed. Once more, Lin Fan's paradise was turned into a world of thunder. Ding, Eternal God Body Experience points plus 1,500. Even though these thunderbolts were virtually nothing for Lin Fan, it was a wave of destruction for the ancient race beings, resulting in death and injuries. Under the might of the thunderbolts, dust flew everywhere before evaporating into nothingness. Lin Fan swept his robes and tossed out a great number of healing pills. They exploded out, turning into a thick medicinal mist that covered the bodies of those injured ancient race beings. As for the ancient race Legatus who was struck by Lin Fan's True Origins crushing kick, his entire body was pitch black right now. While it didn't amount to much, he was enduring an insufferable pain through his entire body, rendering him unable to resist at all. Therefore, Lin Fan could only heal him with all he had in order to have him hold on to the very end. Fire Water Secret Grounds, Fairy Hong Yun and the others were dumbfounded right now. Lin Fan's paradise repeatedly flashed with lightning. Even though they weren't inside it, they could still sense the berserk energy that was flowing within it. In fact, they could feel that if this power of thunder were to even spread out a little from within, it would be enough to annihilate all of them present right now. It seems as though the ancient race beings have done a good deed this time around, Yun, he gasped in astonishment. Too strong. The might of those ancient race Legatus is too much. Even if you were to cage them within a paradise, they should definitely be able to break out of it with pure brute force. To think that Lin Fan could sustain the paradise and have it intact till now. Just how in the world could he have done it? He is the utmost pride of the human race. Even those 5 powerful legendary beings of the human race from 10,000 years ago may not have been able to conduct this feat. Wei Tian's face was paler than anyone present right now. To think that this being of the human race would be this strong. Right now, a sense of chill and regret was bubbling within his heart. If he had known that the other party would be this strong, he wouldn't have offended this guy from the start. Initially, he was still gloating slightly, seeing how the other party might not be able to get through the Paradise Thunder calamity. However, it seemed as though that horrifying being of the human race was managing to hold out against this. Terrifying. This is way too terrifying. Within the paradise, Lin Fan's expression was changing. It had already been over 2,000 thunderbolt strikes by now. As such, his physical body state had grown to that of a divine celestial level 4, undying state. However, the number of ancient race beings that were still alive to share the burden of the Paradise Thunder calamity was getting less and less by the wave. There were practically none of them left by now. In fact, there were already 2 of the ancient race Legatus who had died out of the original 10. Those 2 were the ones who had wanted to detonate their own paradises, but were suppressed down by Lin Fan's True Origins crushing kick. However, because of that suppression of Lin Fan, they were unable to use their own powers to defend against the Paradise Thunder calamity, and could only take on the thunderbolts with their physical body states. Eventually, the accumulation of the power of destruction caused them to explode out from within. Boom. At this moment, the Paradise Thunder calamity was getting ever more maniacal. Within the void, the lightning bolts lined the entire sky densely like a nest of agile snakes. Distorted and convoluted, they appeared from time to time in flashes. A gigantic thunderbolt that was the size of 5 men huddled together slammed down from the sky. Good one. Come at me, then. Now that things have come to this, yours truly isn't going to bow down. Lin Fan hollered. Pushing out with his palm, his energy traveled out, colliding with that crazed dragon of thunder intensely. Boom. Boom. Human. The ancient race will never let you off. One of the ancient race Legatus was on the brink of death right now. Under the might of the next thunderbolt, he was disintegrated into dust without any chance at all. To be honest, the deaths of these ancient race Legatus were way too dishonorable for them. All of them were divine celestial level 5, essence spirit state beings. Which one of them wasn't a powerful being to begin with? Even amongst the ancient race beings, they were of a Legatus status, and commandeered 1 million troops of their own. To think that they were to be used as shields for someone of the human race in order for him to tide through his Paradise Thunder calamity. How could any ancient race Legatus get through such a humiliation? However, there was nothing they could do at all. This human was way too despicable. Even though he wasn't their match at all, his skills were extremely sketchy. Coupled with the fact that he was extremely stealthy, there was no way anyone could track him down. To think that he could even prevent the detonation of one's own paradise. I'm indignant about this. Heavens will please bestow strength upon me. An ancient race Legatus screamed with an extremely spiteful look. In this world, there should only be grounds for the ancient race to trample upon all the others beings of the thousands of races. How could the tables be turned upon them? The speed of the Paradise Thunder calamity was getting faster, and it was getting harder for anyone to react by now. Right after a single thunder calamity rained down, the next wave would follow closely behind. As time went by, Lin Fan's physical body was undergoing a state of ripping and regenerating rapidly as well. Human. You shall die a horrible death. Looking at their ancient race beings dying repeatedly one after another, the ancient race legatus were thoroughly anguished right now. I'll have you dead. Suddenly, one of the ancient race legatus howled out wildly as he appeared straight in the face of Lin Fan. Disregarding the formidable power of thunder above him, he sent a punch pummeling straight at Lin Fan's face. Lin Fan did not turn around to face him. Instead, his gaze was still on the lightning flashes in the heaven. Boom! 2 thunderbolts flashed by Lin Fan's side. At this moment, Lin Fan was like a man made up of thunder. With loud screeches and cracks, his entire body was wrapped up with multiple lightning snakes, as though they were about to devour Lin Fan entirely. At the side, the ancient race legatus who was about to fight it out with Lin Fan was wailing dreadfully as he was ripped apart endlessly. Human. Human. The death of this ancient race legatus had no effect on Lin Fan at all. However, Lin Fan realized that the thunderbolts were not raining down right now. It was as though they were gathering up instead. By the time he looked around at his surroundings, he heaved in a cold breath of air. The entire ancient race army had been annihilated without a single survivor. That ancient race legatus happened to be the last ancient race being standing. All of the Tao and spirit weapons from the bodies of the ancient race legatus had played a part in helping Lin Fan defend up until this moment. He could not deny that he wouldn't be standing here right now if not for the presence of the 10 ancient race legatus. Whether I die or live depends on this final moment. Lin Fan's heart was starting to come to peace. He then shut his eyes gently and focused his spirit, essence, and vitality. When he next opened his eyes, his hands danced around in the air with different stances. A fist. A palm strike. A sword. It was as though he had uncovered every single logic and wisdom within the heaven and earth. A series of skill gods floated gently behind Lin Fan. The 3-headed and 6-armed faceless sky demon was slowly evolving as well, as its aura grew stronger than ever at this moment. It's up to us now, Lin Fan spoke up. Yes, Master. Lin Fan took a step forth, as his aura ascended to the peak point right now. Come on. I must definitely tide over this Paradise Thunder calamity. Even if it's Buddha himself, he shall not hinder my path forward. Lin Fan's aura was domineering, akin to a blade that was just unsheathed. If he were to meet with a god right now, he would kill the god. If a Buddha appeared, he would kill the Buddha. Right now, he was ready to slay everything before him. Chapter 596 Chapter 596, A Paradise That Is One of Its Kind Throughout History. Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_boom. 10 thunder spirits stood upright within the paradise. They looked down at the entire world with a cold, merciless gaze, that were fixated at Lin Fan. What are you looking at? If you're unhappy, come and f***ck me up. What? Am I going to be afraid of you guys now? Lin Fan hollered out in rage as the aura of his entire body had reached its peak right now. The Paradise Thunder calamity was deeply tied to the heaven's will of the ancient saint world. There was no way they would let Lin Fan tide through this so easily. These 10 last remaining thunder spirits were hell-bent on destroying him. The Thunder Trainer King was caged in an aura of his Buddha nature, with a benevolent look on his face. However, his gaze was extremely ferocious. Both of his arms were coiled with thunder as he followed tightly behind Lin Fan. As for the spirit of Bigra, he had retracted that dodgy smile that was usually on his face. However, the dodginess of his aura was still ever so evident, emanating out from time to time. Long Zan and Ziguang's hands were locked tightly together, with a grim expression on their faces. They knew that this was the final trial. If they were to tide through this, it would open up another world for them. If not, death would await them as they disintegrated into dust. Master, all of our skills shall strike out together. All things can be broken through a single thought, as we remain invincible between the world. At this moment, Lin Fan's battle intent was high-strung. Materializing into a physical state, it manifested into a god spirit of his battle intent. Come on, Lin Fan's gaze was sharp. He had reached this point from the very bottom. Right now, he was deploying every single skill he had ever learned, as a powerful aura revolved around him. Right now, Lin Fan was like an unparalleled battle god. He could slay any and everything without a single bit of hesitation. Boom! The 10 thunder spirits howled before fusing together into an extremely thick thunderbolt. This incredibly thick thunderbolt shot down from the heavens like a massive dragon that vociferated in anger continuously. Lin Fan's domineering aura rose immediately as he stretched out his finger. While this finger might seem to be calm and casual, it encompassed everything within it. Even though it was just one of his fingers, it possessed every single skill spirit within it. A single strike with all of his powers. A single strike to destroy everything. Creak. The moment the thunder spirits and his skill spirits clashed, the entire paradise vibrated immensely. The powerful lightning rippled out in all directions. Through this power of thunder, multiple thin and agile thunder snakes contorted out. Twisting around, they eventually covered Lin Fan like a flower. The Thunder Trainer King shut his eyes gently as he shrank down in size. Eventually, he turned into a crystal. Within the crystal, the Thunder Trainer King sat down cross-legged, as though he was about to have a breakthrough and be reborn. The spirit of Bigra shut his eyes gently as well as his body was destroyed continuously. Eventually, he was covered by a thick mist, before condensing down into a crystal as well. Under the might of the power of thunder, all the skill spirits had reached a state of saturation. They were now undergoing a state of rebirth. Whether or not they lived or died depended on Lin Fan right now. None. If he tided through this, they lived, and if he didn't, everyone would die. Rock's breath. In a flash, an illusory figure of a rock appeared behind Lin Fan. This rock began to materialize continuously, before it turned into a physical body. Opening its mouth, it was able to take in entire mountains and rivers with a single breath. All 10 thunder spirits were absorbed within Lin Fan's tummy. Suddenly, Lin Fan's face changed. His body was being breached by the thunderbolts as they worked hard at wreaking havoc within. Creak. As though he couldn't endure this terribly mighty strength, Lin Fan's body began to tear apart. Every single wound would flash with lightning and screech loudly. Essence spirit of the heaven and earth. Culminate into one. With that, a vortex appeared at the head of Lin Fan. A massive amount of spirit chi was being sucked in as his powers surged up, trying to defend against everything. Blood Sea was working at its maximum efficiency right now. Destruction and regeneration were working interchangeably at this moment. However, Lin Fan's expression was gradually turning worse with time. The 10 thunder spirits were way too strong. They were annihilating all the magical powers within his body. In fact, even the source of Lin Fan's powers in every single cell in his body were being destroyed by them. If this were to carry on, rebirth through blood itself might even be rendered useless. System. Bloody hell. How long more do you wish to wait before coming to save me? Do you really want me to die right here? Lin Fan screamed out. He could no longer do anything more. The Paradise Thunder calamity that he was going through right now wasn't something that anyone could possibly endure. This could be considered the strongest Paradise Thunder calamity in the whole of the ancient saint world. Even the 8 utmost beings of the ancient race wouldn't have had gone through such an agonizing Paradise Thunder calamity. These last 10 thunder spirits were even stronger than all of the thunder calamity strikes that he had experienced from the very beginning added together. It was as though Lin Fan's scream had broken through something, as all 10 thunder spirits that were wantonly wreaking havoc in his body began to calm down. Suddenly, they were the ones screaming out in agony, as an unknown energy surged out from within Lin Fan's body towards them. Bam, bam. All of those intrepid thunder spirits began to crumble down one after another. Turning into a ball of energy, all of them were fused into the paradise. Ha. Finally, the system intervenes. Lin Fan roared out in laughter as his face let out a look of glee. Lin Fan understood that the reason why the system hadn't intervened earlier on was that it wanted him to face it himself. But now, these 10 thunder spirits weren't something that anyone could deal with by themselves. Bam! A berserk surge of energy ripped out. Splitting the entire heaven and earth open, everything entered a state of nothingness. Lin Fan's consciousness began to get blurry, as though he was entering another world entirely. Outside, looking at the dispersion of the paradise, Fairy Hong Yun and the others frowned. What's happening? Why is the paradise dispersing? Does this mean that he had succeeded or failed? Even with her broad knowledge of things, the scene that was happening right here wasn't something that Fairy Hong Yun had seen before. In fact, nothing as such was inscribed even within the ancient records. Could he have failed? Yun He's face was terrible right now. I don't think so. If he had failed, the Paradise Thunder Calamity would have erupted out undoubtedly. Given how devastating that Paradise Thunder Calamity was, even if we were hidden snugly within the Fire-Water Secret Grounds, we would definitely be disintegrated into nothingness, Fairy Hong Yun replied. Then, what in the world is happening right now? Where has the paradise gone? Where is he gone? Let's go and check it out. Everyone hurried out of the Fire-Water Secret Grounds and searched around the vicinity. However, they couldn't find any trace of Lin Fan at all. A single speck of dust could be considered as a world of its own. Right now within the void, a speck of dust that couldn't be seen with the naked eye floated gently in the middle of everything. Lin Fan gradually regained his consciousness. Looking at his surroundings, he grinned. Now that he had tided over the Paradise Thunder Calamity, everything had returned to normalcy. Creak. The sounds of cracking permeated through the void. Lin Fan realized that all of those skill spirits who had turned into crystals were shedding their crystal shells right now. This was a rebirth as a massive aura rippled out of them. Compared to the past, they were stronger by 100 times. I am the big ancient demon. By right, I should be the one who should oversee the Tao of the paradise. I am the Thunder Trainer King. By right, I should be the one to reform all of the beings within the paradise. I am the spirit of Bigra. By right, I should be the one who should oversee the Tao of the paradise. Instantly, the big ancient demon and spirit of Bigra glared at one another, their sharp gazes filled with battle intent. Only the spirit of Bigra should have the rights to oversee the Tao of the paradise. What are you? I am the big ancient demon. Of course, I should be the one in charge of overseeing the Tao of this place. Dogsha *T. I'm the one who has been with Master for the longest time now. My battle results have been illustrious throughout all the fights. How can you compete with me? The spirit of Bigra retorted. The auras of Long Zan and Zigwang were both extremely mysterious and deep right now. Looking at the squabble between the big ancient demon and the spirit of Bigra, both of them shrugged their shoulders helplessly. However, at that moment, Lin Fan pointed out with his fingers and a tower of the 18 levels of hells floated out. This was the realm that was cultivated out by Mu Tian and forced out by Lin Fan in the end. With a single palm slap, Lin Fan slammed the 18 levels of hells down into the abyss of his paradise. At this moment, Lin Fan's paradise underwent a change that caused the heaven and earth to topple over entirely. Compared to before, this was way more like a paradise now. Lin Fan lifted his head over. At the far end of his paradise, a talisman paper that was changing rapidly floated silently over in the depths. Right now, the entire paradise was just like an entire world of its own, with its consciousness metamorphosing into the Tao. From this point forth, it would definitely possess mythical usages. However, Lin Fan's face changed when he heard the argument that was going on between the big ancient demon and the spirit of Bigra. All of you, argue your A**s. I shall divide the roles for you guys. Chapter 597 None. What Lin Fan did not expect was that the skill and weapon spirits would know how to contest over benefits. Seemed like their intellect was pretty decent. Right now, his paradise was just like a world of its own. Even though it wasn't that big, it still spanned out for 100,000 miles. While this could only be considered as a miniature world, it possessed everything it should have, without lacking in anything. Right now, the 18 levels of hells made use of Mu Tian's realm. As such, there was a need to watch over the realm. The heaven's will within the paradise right now required an overseer as well, in order to control over everything. Within the paradise, there would naturally be a ton of living beings. The Thunder Trainer King was someone who was skilled in the art of training. Therefore, other than him, there would be no one who was more suited for the role. Master, I've been following you from the very beginning. This big piece of rock here has no capabilities at all. The only thing he knows is to eat, eat and eat day and night. If we were to meet any enemies, he wouldn't have any use at all. If we were to let him oversee the heavens will of the paradise, we might be the ones to be walloped up like dogs by our enemies. The spirit of Bigra commented. Bullsh *T. I am the big ancient demon. My bloodline is of the utmost grade, with an unparalleled might that can cause the entire paradise to shudder. With your dodgy demeanor, how can the masses quiver and submit to you? The big ancient demon retorted. HMPH. The paradise will definitely be filled with living beings in the future. What capabilities do you have to take care of them? The spirit of Bigra asked. Then, what capabilities do you have? The big ancient demon rebuked immediately. HMPH, HMPH. The spirit of Bigra gave two cold laughs. What capabilities do I have? Tons. I am the spirit of Bigra. I can replenish the spirit chi of the paradise itself. Not only that, I can have it pour with spirit rain, nourishing the living beings. Also, I can. The spirit of Bigra began to rant on and on and on. Even Lin Fan's eyebrows were twitching at his words. Lies. Carry on with your exaggerated lies. If you say that you can replenish the spirit chi of the paradise, I'll give you that. But make it pour with spirit rain? Who do you take yourself to be? The big ancient demon scoffed. Looking at the big ancient demon, the eyes of the spirit of Bigra turned decisive. Pointing out with his finger, the river that was formed from the true essence of water rose into the air. Opening his mouth, the spirit of Bigra swallowed the entire vast and boundless river into his belly before burping. All right, watch carefully now. I, the spirit of Bigra, am the best candidate for being the overseer of the heavens will of the paradise. I shall be the true lord of the void of the paradise. For my master, for the sake of the paradise's progression, I'm willing to make any sacrifices possible. The spirit of Bigra chimed loudly. His next course of action had Lin Fan absolutely dumbfounded. The spirit of Bigra took down his pants, whipped out his donger, and started pissing. Instantly, the whole sky was filled with spirit rain that sprayed down onto the world. None, you. The big ancient demon was completely rendered speechless through the actions of the spirit of Bigra as well. To think that he could be this shameless. All of you, shut up. Lin Fan yelled in a high voice. This was seeking getting out of hand now. Flying heavens shall oversee the heavens will of the paradise. Lin Fan waved his hands. Instantly, these gems of words that were spouted out of Lin Fan's mouth seemed to carry a magic to them, as the talisman of the paradise's heavens will shone brightly. From the unknowns, a power gushed down and was bestowed upon Long Zan and Zigwang, covering them with a bright glow. The Thunder Trainer King shall be in charge of reforming all the living beings. The big ancient demon shall watch over the 18 levels of hell. The spirit of Bigra shall be in charge of replenishing the spirit chi as well as patrol of the paradise. Each time Lin Fan opened his mouth, a beam of light shimmered out. Every single weapon and skill spirit had to obey his orders. Now that the paradise had undergone a metamorphosis, its achievements from this point forth would be unlimited. Lin Fan could also sense his own power level rising during the Paradise Thunder Calamity. Right now, it was way stronger compared to before, way stronger. Even though the expedition of the Fire-Water Secret Grounds had been extremely treacherous, Lin Fan had honestly made a huge fortune out of this place. His physical body state had grown, and his paradise had metamorphosed. At the same time, all of the weapon and skill spirits that he had cultivated out had been buffed and had grown way stronger than before as well. Furthermore, Lin Fan could sense that a single punch from him seemed to possess the equivalence of an entire world of its own. Naturally, this wasn't an exact approximation of his true strength, this was just what he felt. However, he still felt that his current strength had grown to a certain extent. Even if it were a divine celestial level 4, undying state being, Lin Fan was pretty sure that he could devastate that entire being easily. At the moment, Fairy Hong Yun and the others were looking for Lin Fan frantically. They were hoping to find any signs or traces of him. Just then, the void vibrated as a figure appeared within it. Lin Fan. The moment everyone caught sight of that figure, they were extremely agitated. In fact, Fairy Hongyun even came about to Lin Fan's side and checked him from top to toe. She was feeling extremely alarmed right now. Not only had his aura grown stronger, it had also gotten more mysterious along with it. The Paradise Thunder Calamity. You've tided through it? Fairy Hongyun asked. Yes. I have. Lin Fan nodded his head without holding back at all. Actually, Fairy Hongyun knew that he must have tided through it, since he was alive right now. However, Lin Fan's personal affirmation was undoubtedly even more startling. Elder Yun He and the others could no longer speak at all. To think that he could even get through such a devastating Paradise Thunder Calamity. What sort of luck and encounters must someone have in order to get through something like this? From this day forth, it didn't matter how tall the heavens were or how far the earth extended. This man was bound to conquer them all. Good, good. Indeed, you're undoubtedly the pride of the human race. Elder Yun He exclaimed excitedly. Tianyun and Muqing headed up to congratulate Lin Fan. At the same time, they were filled with a deep fear towards Lin Fan's formidable strength. Standing beside Lin Fan, they were almost getting the feeling that they weren't standing beside a living being, but an entire world of its own. Weidian was supporting Fang Weifeng by the shoulders. They hid within the crowd, lowering their heads and not daring to make direct eye contact with Lin Fan. Lin Fan, my utmost gratitude for the events of this fire-water secret grounds. If it weren't for you, all of us would most definitely have perished within this place. Elder Yun He said. Actually, if you guys hadn't given me the treasures of the fire-water secret grounds, I wouldn't have been able to hold out until this point either. Lin Fan was speaking the truth indeed. If not for those Dao and spirit weapons, he wouldn't have been able to hold on until he met the ancient race army. But of course, Lin Fan was the most grateful towards the ancient race beings. If not for that ancient race army, he would truly have been F***CKED up big time with this Paradise Thunder Calamity. Elder Yun He was also feeling exceptionally joyous in his heart right now. Even though the Dao and spirit weapons within the fire-water secret grounds were extremely valuable, the fact that they're able to get acquainted with a pride of the human race who wielded such infinite potential was also a fact worth celebrating. Now that the ancient race army has been thoroughly annihilated, the ancient race isn't going to let this go that easily. How about you come over to the Cloud Sect as a guest? Elder Yun He suggested. Lin Fan pondered for a moment before nodding his head eventually. Well, I had the idea of paying you guys a visit as well. Lin Fan wanted to take a look at the ancient records within the Cloud Sect. After this round of events, if there was one thing that Lin Fan truly understood right now, it was the importance of knowledge. Furthermore, now that his paradise had already undergone a metamorphosis, he required a large deal of knowledge in order to construct the facilities within it. By now, Weidian was thoroughly filled with fear towards Lin Fan. On the other hand, Fang Weifeng was filled with hatred. Upon hearing that Lin Fan was headed to the Cloud Sect, the wrath within his heart surged and gushed like the raging waters of a river. All right, once we get to the Cloud Sect, I'll be sure to teach you a lesson. Fang Weifeng's eyes shone with a nasty glint. Lin Fan turned around just in time to catch a glimpse of that glint. However, it disappeared almost immediately. But for Lin Fan's current state, he could sense any bit of hostile intent towards himself. Despite that, Lin Fan did not put it to heart. Chapter 598 Chapter 598 The Sect That Lies Within a Paradise. Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_ The entire ancient race army was annihilated without a single survivor. The moment Lin Fan's paradise dispersed, the heavens will of the ancient saint world had already felt it. Rage, boundless rage. All of the living beings within the ancient saint world found the skies crackling with lightning, as though the end of the world was approaching. They did not know what had happened. A situation like this had no precedence in the ancient saint world. Within their high jewel thrones, the 8 utmost beings of the ancient race smiled indifferently as they received the news from the heavens will of the ancient saint world. For the other 7 utmost beings, this was of no concern at all. However, the utmost being whose district Lin Fan was in was fuming with anger. Even the death of the Marquis of Despair, heck, that of even Sovereign King Wei hadn't gotten him this angered. However, the situation was entirely different right now. An entire ancient race army of 1,000,000 troops, 10 legatus, and countless tribunus. To think that they would all perish within the fire-water secret grounds. How could this not rile the utmost being of the ancient race? The rage of the utmost being caused all the sovereign kings under him to shiver in fright. Even though they held pretty respectable positions, they knew that in the eyes of the utmost being, they were still nothing but ants. The death of any one of them was easily replicable by the utmost being. The newly appointed sovereign King Wei enjoyed a boundless amount of authority. However, he was prostrated on the ground right now while shivering uncontrollably. That mighty head of his was buried deep into the ground. He did not have the guts to even raise his head. The void shuddered as a long whip appeared, lashing out at the sovereign King Wei. Each time the whip landed, the void would explode. At the same time, the essence spirit of the sovereign King Wei trembled immensely, as though it was about to just disintegrate at any moment. You had better find this human and bring his head over to me. After several hundred whips, the utmost being finally hollered out. The might of his voice was so strong that the castle of the sovereign King Wei nearly crumbled. Sovereign King Wei was the only one who was moving, convulsing so badly and nodding his head hurriedly. Why yes, utmost being. Your underling shall definitely seek out this human. When the void finally calmed down, sovereign King Wei finally stood up. That fearful face of his changed into a grim and solemn one. All of you had better find him. If you can't find the human, all of you shall die. He was incensed right now. To think that a single being of the human race could take down the entire ancient race army. This was an utter humiliation to the entire ancient race altogether. If he didn't wash this slate clean, he would definitely end up as the laughing stock across all of history. Why yes, sovereign king, countless ancient race beings laid prostrating while nodding their heads in rapid succession. The cloud sect is just up ahead, within the void. A group of people was flying right now as Elder Yun he commented while pointing into the distance. Lin Fan raised his head over. Even though there was nothing in sight before him, he knew that the cloud sect must definitely be hidden in a deeply secretive place. If it were to be found that easily, the ancient race would have come knocking on their door long ago. Following their approach, Elder Yun he clapped his palms. Using his powers, the void before him split apart instantly. Within the ancient saint world, any sects would keep themselves hidden extremely deeply. However, many sects were still discovered by the ancient race eventually, leading to their destruction. Elder Yun he continued. Following that, he brought Lin Fan along with everyone else into the void. Instantly, the scene before their eyes changed. It was no longer empty like before. There were mountains, rivers and complete greenery. The birds chirped merrily while the scent of flora was all over the place. This was a picturesque sight to be found on Earth. Lin Fan looked around. This shouldn't be a place within the ancient saint world. This was a dimension all on its own. He could not help but feel impressed within his heart. Just what sort of a powerful being was the one who had done this? To think that this person could have opened up an entire dimension just like that. Looking at the bewilderment on Lin Fan's face, Elder Yun he could not hold back his pride. This is the paradise that was opened up by the founder ancestor of the Cloud Sect. This is a place that exists within the ancient saint world. However, if you do not have the specified powers of the Cloud Sect, any outsider would not be able to gain entry into this place. Elder Yun he explained. This is a paradise? Lin Fan was a little stumped. Could the Cloud Sect be living within the paradise of some great powerful being? But, wait a minute. If that powerful being were to die, wouldn't the entire paradise be destroyed as well? But that shouldn't be the case as well, judging from the current situation. However, Lin Fan did not probe about the exact circumstances. Since Elder Yun he did not bring it up, Lin Fan didn't want to inquire further about it either. A myriad of shining, golden houses floated gently up in the void. A pathway was connected to each and every one of these houses. At that moment, a beam of light shone over from the distance. In a jiffy, it appeared before Lin Fan's face. Who are you? This was a young man who had appeared before Lin Fan. His cultivation state was of azure celestial middle level. The moment he caught sight of Elder Yun he and the others, his expression turned into one of elation. Elder Yun he. You guys are back. I'll report about this immediately. With that, the young man retrieved a jade-green flute. Placing it by his mouth, he played a tune before keeping it back in his storage. Elder Yunhee, was the expedition to the Fire-Water Secret Grounds successful? The young man asked curiously. Given their strength level, it would be rare for them to be able to head out on expeditions unless an elder would take them out. The other alternative would be for them to reach a divine celestial cultivation state. Otherwise, they would probably only be able to train up within this paradise. A narrow escape, Yunhee replied tartly. The moment the young man heard this, his face changed immediately. Turning around, he realized that there were approximately half of those who had gone only returned. With that, his face turned slightly grimmer. He knew that those senior brothers would have most likely perished. Lin Fan, let us head to the main hall first. Elder Yun, he continued. All right, Lin Fan nodded his head. The moment Lin Fan and Elder Yun he made their leave, the young man who had welcomed them looked at the back view of Lin Fan inquisitively. Senior sister, who is that person? The young man asked. He is a pride of the human race. If not for his presence, all of us would have died in the hands of the ancient race. That's right, junior brother. If only you had seen the prowess of that man. If you were there, you would definitely have been shocked into tears. As he heard the stories told to him by his senior brothers and sisters, the young man's mouth dropped even further as his eyes widened with a look of awe. At this place, the only one fuming with anger was Fang Weifeng. Pushing Wadian away from him, he flew into the distance alone. Looking at the direction his senior brother had flown towards, Wadian's brows creased slightly. Eventually, he came to terms with it. Senior brother, you're being blinded by rage. But, please don't do anything that might cause you harm. Wadian had accepted the facts by now. Anyways, he wouldn't be going against Lin Fan anymore. By the looks of it, Lin Fan wasn't even a human. He was way too strong. Even their big senior brother Liao Hen may not be as sick as this human. Within the main hall, Lin Fan was staring intently at another man. This middle-aged man donned white robes. He looked like a meek scholar with a fleeting aura around him. However, he brought with him an air of superiority from top to toe. It was this very middle-aged man who had tided through the Paradise Thunder calamity of 188 spirit chi cyclones. This was the Grand Master of the Cloud Sect. Lin Fan could sense that the cultivation state of the Cloud Sect's Grand Master was higher than even that of Sovereign King Wei. Divine Celestial Level 8, Universal Elixir State. Indeed, you're a pride of the human race. That strength you possess is absolutely astounding. Thank you for saving the members of my sect. The eyes of the Grand Master seemed as though they could perceive through anything. Immediately after, he cupped his fists together to express his thanks. You're too polite, Grand Master of the Cloud Sect. It's just that, in order to help me tide through the Paradise Thunder calamity, Elder Yun he and the others had forsaken the Dao weapons they obtained within the Fire-Water Secret Grounds to me. I hope that you do not blame it on them. Lin Fan replied. Yunhee, you did well. It's just a few Dao weapons, that's all. To think that we're able to retain a pride of the human race with that. If you were here at the Cloud Sect, I wouldn't have minded even if I had to rein in the strength of the entire Cloud Sect to assist you. The Grand Master of the Cloud Sect replied. Lin Fan observed the words of the Grand Master keenly. He couldn't sense any bit of hypocrisy within them. As such, he was thoroughly impressed by this person as well. Seemed like he had arrived at a good sect. If that were the case, it shouldn't be an issue for him to take a short rest at this place. Highs, it's just that I didn't expect for us to be discovered by the ancient race beings. Regarding this matter, I'll have to conduct a thorough investigation into it. Yunhee, kindly arrange for his accommodation. Once I'm done with this matter, I'll head over to continue with the reception. Yes, Grand Master. Chapter 599 Chapter 599, Please seek justice for me, big senior brother. Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_ Lin Fan, this is where you'll be staying. Here, hold on to this token, because no one from the sect really knows you. To ensure that there are no unnecessary problems, please carry it with you wherever you go. Also, the Grand Master has instructed that if there's anywhere you wish to head to, feel free to let me know and I'll bring you over. Fairy Hong Yun settled Lin Fan down. Ever since they had returned to the sect, Fairy Hong Yun was feeling much more relieved. After all, she had to be constantly on her toes outside. Lin Fan looked at the token in his hands, wondering what material was used to fabricate this. There was a magic cloud carved on it, which should be the emblem of the cloud sect then. Hong Yun, if it's possible, I would like to take a look at your library. The reason why Lin Fan had arrived at the cloud sect was because he wanted to read up intensively, so that he could accumulate more knowledge about this world. I'll arrange that for you tomorrow. Please take this place as your own home. The senior and junior brothers are all really friendly. Hong Yun gave a gentle smile that was akin to a breeze in spring. I'll go and hand down some affairs before taking you on a tour around the sect. All right, please get busy first. I'll just take a look around myself. Lin Fan replied. Looking at the surroundings, there was no wonder this place was like a fairyland on Earth within the ancient saint world. Everything was peaceful and harmonious. The feeling was similar to a sect back in the Xuanwang world. Compared to the treacherous nature of the ancient saint world outside, Lin Fan felt that it would be a good choice to reside at a place like this for the rest of one's life should there be no issues at all. After Fairy Hong Yun took her momentary leave, Lin Fan turned around inside his house and entered a state of inner calmness. Now that the Tao of the Paradise is formed, I can easily enter the undying state at any time I choose to. Lin Fan took a quick check of his current status. Due to the fact that he had cultivated Blood Sea and the Eternal God body, his physical body state was extremely tough. There were signs of life within every single one of his cells. He could easily enter the undying state with just a single thought. However, there was nothing truly appealing about the undying state for Lin Fan. He might as well take the time to properly strengthen his paradise and have it develop to its perfection. That would certainly be a boon for his future cultivation as well. The mythical parasol tree had taken root within his paradise and its leaves were flourishing while taking in the energy of the scorching sun from the true essence of fire. On the other hand, the long river that was formed from the true essence of water was slowly seeping into the mythical parasol tree and nourishing its roots. Looking like pearls under the luster of the radiant sun, Shenyang pills emitted a faint glow as they dropped down from the mythical parasol tree in the thousands. Right now, the speed of producing Shenyang pills was extraordinarily fast. However, Lin Fan knew that by the time he was done, the speed of production for Shenyang pills would definitely be even more rapid than right now. Casting a single look down, Lin Fan's eyes seemed to be penetrating through the different hells. Currently, the 18 levels of hell were all empty while the big ancient demon sat cross-legged in cultivation. If he wanted the paradise to start working properly, he might have to put in more effort than this. With this level of his paradise, Lin Fan was just fumbling his way through. There was a lot more for him to slowly discover. Within the Cloud Sect, there existed a mysterious place on a mountain peak. This mountain peak was shrouded by a barrier of light. Without the approval of anyone within, no outsider could possibly step foot within this place. At this moment, a man stood upright outside this mountain peak. His face was infuriated, as anger burned within his heart. However, he made sure to hold that sense of rage within himself and maintain the appropriate respect on his face. Junior brother Fang, I heard that you were injured within the Fire-Water secret grounds. What are you doing here at my place instead of recuperating properly? Suddenly, a voice rang out from the mountain peak. This voice was casual and calm. However, there was a sense of authoritativeness hidden within it. The moment the voice rang out, it was as though there was an emperor sitting on his high throne, looking down at the masses in disdain. Senior brother Lu, your junior brother here has been bullied by someone. I implore you to seek justice for me. Senior brother, Fang Weifeng could barely contain the wrath within his heart. However, he knew that he was definitely no match for that human himself. Therefore, he could only beg his senior brother for help. Hopefully, his senior brother could step in and avenge this indignance for him. After Fang Weifeng's words were spoken, the air was dead silent for a while. Suddenly, an irresistible suction force came through from within the mountain peak. The only thing Fang Weifeng could feel was as though his body no longer belonged to himself, as he was dragged into the mountain peak by an invisible gigantic arm that held onto him firmly. By the time Fang Weifeng could clearly make out everything before him, he found himself inside the inner area of the mountain peak. Within this inner area were many red-crowned cranes that soared all over the sky. In the vicinity, many disciples were making their way around the place as well. Even though Fang Weifeng could regrow that palm of his that was broken by Lin Fan with the use of medicinal pills now that he was back in the sect, he did not do so. The reason for this was so that senior brother Lu could make out how tragic of a state he was in. At this moment, Fang Weifeng stared at that tightly shut main hall of this place. Disregarding the way he was looked at by the surrounding disciples, Fang Weifeng knelt down on the floor before the main hall respectfully. He then cried out in equal parts of fury and sadness, "Big senior brother. Please seek justice for me." "Yes? So, what exactly is the current situation right now? To think that he would be this vicious with you." The voice from the hall rang out once more. "Senior brother, it was a being of the human race who had severed my palm. Junior sister Hong Yun got acquainted with this human from some unknown place. Looking at how close and chummy junior sister Hong Yun was getting with that human, your junior brother here felt disgruntled over it. Therefore, I mouthed out with a few insults here and there. To think that the human would throw his temper and slice off my palm just like that. Your junior brother here truly cannot endure this grudge," Fang Weifeng explained in resentment. The moment Fang Weifeng mentioned junior sister Hong Yun, there was an evident change in the expression of senior brother Lu within the main hall. However, he regained his composure almost immediately. "And, where is this human you speak of right now?" "Senior brother, Elder Yun he has invited this human back to our sect. Right now, he's residing within our sect," Fang Weifeng replied. "I see. Since he is someone that is brought back by Elder Yun there is nothing much we can do to him. However, since he has you injured, we can't let this issue pass by just like this too, can we? Wenjuang, make a trip with junior brother Fang and have the human pay him an apology. If he refuses to, you can do anything you want to him as long as he doesn't die. What do you think about this, junior brother Fang?" Naturally, this wasn't the outcome that Fang Weifeng had wished for. He wanted to trample on this guy harshly beneath his feet and break all of his limbs. However, he knew that this was the most help that senior brother Lu could accord him with. Even though Elder Yun He's cultivation state wasn't comparable to that of senior brother Lu, he was an elder of the Cloud sect no matter what. And, since that man was someone invited over as a guest by Elder Yun they naturally couldn't go overboard with their actions. "Thank you, senior brother Lu," Fang Weifeng agreed with it. Even though senior brother Fang wasn't going to make an appearance personally, the matter could be considered a done deal with the presence of senior brother Zhang Wenjuang standing up for him. Unless this fella chose to go against the will of senior brother Lu, but would he? "If there's nothing else, senior brother, your junior brother here shall take his leave," Fang Weifeng added on. "Hold up. Take this with you." A pill gently flew out of the main hall. Fang Weifeng looked at the pill. The moment he smelled the fragrant aroma, his face changed immediately into joy. To think that this was a blood muscle multiplication pill. As long as he consumed this, he could regrow his limbs without any issues. At first, Fang Weifeng was still slightly vexed over the issue of having to exchange pills from the sect. To think that senior brother Lu would be this generous and grant him a gift of such a precious pill. "Since you got into a disagreement over my sake, I'll confer this pill as a gift to you." The voice of senior brother Lu rang out once more. However, there was a tinge of displeasure in his tone. It was as though this displeasure was directed towards that human who was getting close with his junior sister Hong Yun. "Thank you, senior brother." Fang Weifeng was exhilarated right now. He then turned around to the man standing beside him. "Thank you for the trouble, senior brother Zhang." "Okay." Zhang Wenjuang nodded his head without saying anything much. At this moment, Fang Weifeng's thoughts turned towards that darned human. The thought of him trembling and cowering in fear under the might of senior brother Zhang had Fang Weifeng excited beyond any words. Chapter 600 I'm afraid Lin Fan may smash them to a pulp. Translator, Lam_editor, Hitesh_ within the sect. Ever since Tianyun had returned from the Fire-Water secret grounds, he had evidently turned into Mr. Storyteller for some of the disciples. These disciples did not have a high cultivation state. Some of them were utmost celestials, while others were azure celestials. With regards to something as dangerous as the ancient race, they could only take down some of the weaker ancient race beings. If they were to come face to face with the stronger ones, they would definitely have to bow down against them. As such, a large portion of the Cloud Sect disciples had never once left the sect. Even if they had, they would only have explored the regions nearby, and that was it. In order to familiarize these disciples with the mentality and experience to engage in combat, several secret grounds were established by the Cloud Sect itself within the paradise. While they possessed treasures within, dangers were accompanying them in the secret grounds as well. Even though there might not be any risk of losing their lives, it was common for the disciples to lose their limbs and stuff within the secret grounds. Perhaps, it would be more appropriate to say that these secret grounds were places where the Cloud Sect disciples would self-entertain themselves. An ancient race army of 1 million beings? How massive must that have been? Isn't that way too dangerous? Senior brother, you're not trying to scam us, are you? A disciple asked with a shocked expression, evidently doubting these words. He was someone who was born in the ancient saint world. Under a fated occurrence, he had managed to enter the Cloud Sect. Ever since then, he had been cultivating within the Cloud Sect. At the same time, he had always enjoyed listening to the knowledge that was shared by senior brother Tianyun. As for those disciples of similar status as him, he did not like some of them that much, which was because they were beings who had ascended from the lower worlds. All of them only knew how to cultivate and train in the secret grounds. They did not know how to have fun in life at all. Scam? Does your senior brother look like he's someone who would scam you guys? I'll tell you guys this. The only reason why your senior brothers and sisters could have made it back this time around was all thanks to that being of the human race. If not for his presence, we would have all died within the fire-water secret grounds. The moment Tianyun got to Lin Fan, his face was filled with admiration. This was the fate of powerful beings. They were ever so popular. Senior brother, now this is something I don't think I can believe. You're telling me that a single person could have exterminated that entire ancient race army? Senior brother, even though I haven't been out and about, you can't exaggerate your story like that, you know? The surrounding disciples nodded their heads in agreement. 1 million ancient race beings? What sort of a concept was that? If they were to be surrounded by an ancient race army that size, they wouldn't even have a single scrap remaining of their bodies. Oh, you frogs in a well. You're all truly frogs in a well. Your senior brother here has witnessed it for himself. Do you think I could possibly make something like this up? Tianyun was exasperated right now. However, he knew that if he hadn't seen this with his very own eyes, he too wouldn't have believed in his own words. Alright, let's leave this be for now. How about we change the subject a little? Fang Weifeng, you guys know of him, right? Do you know what happened when someone as haughty and arrogant as him tried to go against the human? That's right. His palm was severed instantly by that human. Tianyun continued. Ah, so, that's the reason. Holy sh*t. When senior brother Fang came back, I asked him about his palm out of concern. He told me that it was severed by an ancient race being. So, he was lying to me. Senior brother Tianyun. Take a look over there. Senior brother Fang's headed in this direction. Another disciple whispered softly. Tianyun turned his head around. When he saw how terrible Fang Weifeng looked, he sniggered in his heart. However, when he caught sight of the person beside Fang Weifeng, his face froze up. Well, others might not know who this person was, but could he not know? Wasn't this senior brother Zhang Wenjuang who was always by the side of the big senior brother? The moment Tianyun caught sight of the gloating expression on Fang Weifeng's face, his heart groaned for a moment. This fella must have gone over and complained to the big senior brother. And now, he was going to seek trouble with Lin Fan with reinforcements. Alright, you guys just carry on chatting over here, eh? I've got something on, so I'll be leaving first. Tianyun whispered gently before retreating into the distance immediately. Senior brother, where are you off to? You've yet to finish your stories. Senior brother, what are you guys up to over here? Coming before these disciples, Fang Weifeng asked in a pompous manner. Senior brother Fang, We were just listening to Senior Brother Tianyun telling us about what happened in the Fire Water Secret Grounds, HMPH, Fang Weifeng snorted coldly. All of you, follow me. This was the day that Fang Weifeng wanted to regain his pride. The moment he saw Tianyun mixing with these disciples in a discussion, he knew that his plight must have been leaked out. Now, he was going to have everyone know what the consequences of messing with him were. As for that lad, Tianyun? Once he was done with that human, he would take care of Tianyun properly. The moment these disciples heard the orders of Senior Brother Fang, they followed behind him, not daring to disobey his words. To think that my paradise would reach such a degree of power. Indeed, one must never look at a genius the same way they view commoners. Lin Fan had been immersed within his paradise the entire time, sensing the power that was brought forth by it. Initially, Lin Fan was somewhat heartbroken that his 9-5 legendary brick and eternal axe were damaged by the Paradise Thunder calamity. However, both of these legendary weapons were instantly repaired the moment he tided through the Paradise Thunder calamity. At the same time, Lin Fan was certain of a fact now. These two legendary weapons weren't invincible. The damage to the eternal axe was something Lin Fan did not put to his heart. Even if it were destroyed, he would at most feel crestfallen for a while. However, it wouldn't affect him that much. However, if the 9-5 legendary brick was destroyed, Lin Fan would probably feel like committing suicide. This was a godly object. A natural order-defying object that could render one unconscious regardless of defense. If this object were to be gone, he would truly be dead meat. Lin Fan had wanted to improve on the 9-5 legendary brick. This was a thought that he had pondered over for a long time now. However, he was afraid that the original effect of the 9-5 legendary brick might be lost under this brash decision of his. Compared to other legendary weapons, the 9-5 legendary brick did not possess any magical powers or weapon spirit within it. Even if Lin Fan wanted to give it an upgrade, he had yet to think up of a good way to do so. However, the fact remained that the Cloud Sect was a good place for him to take a rest. As such, Lin Fan had the intentions of crafting a new weapon once more. This time around, Lin Fan did not want to craft any Dao weapon or whatsoever. He wanted to try his luck and randomly create a legendary weapon that was similar to the 9-5 legendary brick. Even though the chances were really slim, he had to give it a shot no matter what. Who knew when Lady Luck might be shining on him and something pops out of his tries. That was not entirely impossible either. Lin Fan. Scram out here to your granddaddy. Right at this moment, a roar came from outside his house. This roar was filled with boundless rage and indignity. This voice is pretty familiar. Who could it be? Lin Fan was in the midst of contemplating about a major event in his life. To think that someone would come knocking on his door at this moment. Well, there should only be those two who had a grudge against him in the Cloud Sect. By the sound of this voice, this should be Fang Weifeng. It wasn't that Lin Fan hadn't considered the possibility of Fang Weifeng seeking trouble for himself upon arriving at the sect. However, what Lin Fan had not expected was that things would come by this quickly. Goodness, this guy just couldn't wait even a single night for revenge. But, fair enough. Since this was the case, it was time to see just what sort of help this Fang Weifeng had managed to obtain. Lin Fan believed that he wouldn't have this sort of guts if it were just him alone. Outside the house, Fang Weifeng stood with an overbearing demeanor, looking down at the rest of the world. He had sworn to get his revenge today. It was time to let this damned human know that Fang Weifeng wasn't a pushover. At another corner of the sect, Tianyun had finally found his junior sister Hangyun. He told her about the issue of Fang Weifeng seeking Lin Fan to trash things out. The moment Fairy Hangyun heard this, her eyelids twitched instantly. She wasn't worried that anything would happen to Lin Fan at all. She was more worried that her fellow sect member may be smashed to a pulp by Lin Fan. Junior sister, slow down a little. Given Lin Fan's strength, I'm sure he'll be alright. Looking at how worried his junior sister Hangyun was, Tianyun felt a weird stir in his heart. To think that his junior sister would already be so attached to this man after knowing him for such a short period of time. At this moment, Tianyun was once again thoroughly impressed by Lin Fan. Seemed like he was too good at bagging chicks as well. I'm not worried about him. I'm just worried that he might end up killing Fang Weifeng instead. The moment Tianyun heard this, his face changed slightly. Wait a minute. This seemed about right.